as humans, we come partially preconstructed, and it is man that completes the manufacturing process. What I'm talking about is us as a person, as an individual, as a human. See, God, the creator, or the creators, if you will, partially construct your identity, your personality as a human being. Who you are as a person initially is determined by your DNA code. It is determined by the DNA code that you receive from both of your parents. This is the foundation for which many things, many traits, many physical and non-physical traits, right? This is the foundation from which you come to, you see. And also in terms of personality, in terms of proclivities, in terms of things, you also have to factor in astrology, right? If we want to get a little bit esoteric here. See, when you talk about astrology, you're dealing with the astral body, which is essentially the double of your physical body. Some may call the spirit, or in ancient Egypt they call it the Ka. You see, let me get a little metaphysical for a second. There's a difference between your spirit, your soul, and your physical body, right? There's other bodies that come into play in metaphysics or in the esoteric, but those are the three easiest to understand. So the soul is the true self, right? If you have a soul, your soul is immortal. Your soul is what incarnates into other lifetimes, whereas the spirit is the non-physical aspect of your physical body. It is what carries the personality of this particular lifetime, or of this particular incarnation here on earth, right? It is what can travel. It is the vehicle which your soul can travel and incarnate into the physical plane, and it stays the astral body and the astral body or the spirit does not go. It cannot go to worlds that the soul can go to. Like, it can go beyond the physical, but it is limited within the astral or spirit world. Which, if you know, when you're talking about your soul can go beyond those things. But I point that out to say that when you talk about astrology, you're speaking about the astral body, or you're talking about the spirit. This is how you get the personality and character traits and all of these different things. You get all these different things within the astral body, which the physical body is somewhat of a mirror of the astral body, you see. And so it's almost like, you know, it's almost like the state of matter. You have the soul would represent, or let's say the physical body would represent solid matter. The astral body or spiritual body would represent liquid, 'and' 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 air or moisture. Not exactly sure how to phrase it, but that air type form of matter. Which, if you know anything about matter, you know that those are a retrograde or the physical or the solid is the densest form, and that can break down into liquid, and then the liquid can break into steam or air, right? So it's lighter forms of matter essentially, and it's higher forms of matter which we're talking about here. Okay. So now let's get down to the nitty gritty of this topic, right? So all of these things, when you're born, right, you have your astral body that hovers over the physical body while it's forming within the mother's womb. Okay, so that astral body is creating the personality. It's creating the astral personality, which is kind of like a trying to think of the term. It's kind of like an archetype, right? That's what astrology is. It's 12 archetypes, general archetypes, and then you also have those archetypes in terms of the planetary thing that's going on. So let's say the main thing people know of is the sun sign, right? Which is the general outwardly personality of a person. But you also have the moon sign. You also have Mars, Venus, Pluto, Neptune, and pretty much all of the recognized planets that correspond with a certain aspect of your psyche. So the moon will correspond with your emotional side, your internal personality, the dark side of the mirror, right? The Mars or the, let's say, the Venus would correspond with how you deal with love and relationships and things of those natures. And of course you have the houses and the things of that nature, but all of these things correspond within aspects or particular aspects of your personality and of your psyche, you see. So also, as a baby, what you have is the DNA code of your parents, right? And so you have all of these physical traits and non-physical traits and things of that nature. The physical aspects of you, the height, the where was your weight, how do you react to certain foods, all these different things are embedded within the DNA code, right? All of these things are embedded, and that creates the foundation for you as a human being. This is your general foundation. Now, so where you divulge from these things, right? That is the manufacturing process. It's almost like a lot of cars or a lot of manufacturing in general with certain items, but cars are a good example, right? So a lot of cars that are manufactured outside the United States, what they do is they take the vehicles and they come partially manufactured, right? And so it may be about 70 to 90% complete, and they ship them to the other markets, other countries around the world. And what they do is when they get to the country, a lot of times they'll do it. They'll get shipped to a facility, and at that facility they'll complete more percentage. So maybe it'll be about 95% done, and they'll ship that to the actual dealership, and the dealership will complete the last 5%. And so this is the perfect metaphor when we talk about how astrology and DNA is the foundation for a person in terms of the manufacturing process. You also have other things that come into play that complete you as a person, right? So your upbringing, that's another aspect of the manufacturing process, right? how you're raised by your parents, what you've seen and been through as a child, what world views are being imparted upon you. It's like, people in the United States are so surprised about how these, white millennials are so racist and yada, yada, yada. But what you must understand is these same white millennials are being raised by racist white Gen Xers or racist white baby boomers. You see, these mindsets and ideologies are passed down from parents to child. So it is no surprise to me that racism still exists and that they are still over racist, because I understand the manufacturing process. I understand how the human being is created, how we get these ideologies. And, the racism thing is just an example. I mean, you can come up with thousands of examples on any type of ideology or mindset. I mean, you can apply that to financial literacy. If your parents, grew up working a 9 to 5, then they're going to impart that mindset onto you, where everything is centered around a job, or everything is centered around, working for someone else, because that's the mindset. That is what worked for them, and so they pass it upon their children. Or if you grew up, if you look at most wealthy people in the country, if you look at the elite, right? They don't have the belief of having the 9 to 5. The people I'm talking about, the 0.1 percenters, those people that have major corporations within their family. And so, a lot of those kids from those families, they may have jobs, but if they have a job, it is a well-paying job within the family's organization, right? So it's something like a senior vice president or CEO, or something that is a well-paid 6 to 7 figure corporate job that they're working within the family companies that they also have ownership equity in, some type of way, whether it be directly or through some type of private trust or trust fund or something of that nature, right? So that's one aspect of it, right? How you're raised. Another aspect of it is the work that you do as a person. You see, what personal development are you doing as an adult to improve your mindset, to change your mindset, to improve your position in life? Because at the end of the day, right, so everyone's path in life is going to be different, but in order to get to where you want, you have to become the person that you need to be. So everything, in my opinion, on this planet is cause and effect. If you can find the right cause, you're going to have the right effect, or the desired effect, or the desired result, right? So let's say if I wanted to be a top-notch fighter, I have to work out, I have to be trained by previous fighters, I have to work hard every day, I have to gain weight, put on muscle, I have to spar, I have to do there's all of these things that I have to do to get to this point, right? If I want to be wealthy, same thing. If I want to be a top musician, same thing. And oh, by the way, even if I do those things, it's still going to take a significant 1, 5, 10, maybe 20 plus years for me to achieve that goal, for me to become the person that I want to be, to achieve what I want to achieve. So we as humans, we complete the manufacturing process through these things, through personal development, through increasing our vocabulary, through studying our field, through practicing our field, through learning and being taught by others in our field, whatever it may be. If you want to be an actor, if you want to be a business person, these things take time. And if you were born poor, then it's going to take even more time because you don't have the necessary tools that someone who is wealthy has. Like, you don't have the right amount of mentors that they may have. Somebody from a wealthy, affluent background. I mean, even if you do find mentors, being a poor person within your community, a lot of times these people only have a modicum of success, right? So, there's a difference between having a mentor of a guy that makes 6 figures a year, an older guy in your community, whereas Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates has billionaires as mentors, multi-billionaires, people that are, have had 30 plus years in experience of dealing with these things, right? And so it's a different level. It's almost like the same when you compare a historically black college and university to a Ivy League school. I mean, a lot of people say there's no difference, but no, that's bullshit. There's a huge difference between those two opposing sides. I mean, hell, even if you compare Ivy League to a state college, I mean, there's just another level of professionalism. There's another level of scrutiny. There's just a higher level of detail that goes into these Ivy League universities, and they've been doing it for so much longer than a lot of these colleges across the world, right? Particularly in the U.S. And so that's what it is. What are you doing to become the person you want to be? What are you sacrificing? What are you learning? And you have to understand, man, this shit is not going to happen overnight. People are going to talk shit about you. People are going to want you to do what they want you to do. You know what I'm saying? Most people probably not going to believe in you. But at the end of the day, it's not about proving other people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Because think about this. I mean, when you prove somebody wrong, what happens, right? Only thing they're going to say is, oh, man, you were right. You know what I'm saying? There's no real payoff for proving most people wrong. Like, there's no dramatic shift in their mindset. It's just like a quick acknowledgement of you being right. I mean, and that doesn't matter anyway, because the real fruits of your labor is proving yourself right is when you get to experience that lifestyle, right? When you get to experience the place that you wanted to be, right? If you're talking about wealth, I mean, that supersedes all that bullshit. But this is just the reality of life. A lot of people are not gonna support you, believe in you, etc., etc. It is what it is. You have to become the person that you need and want to become because of you. And this includes the personal development. This includes studying whatever field you're trying to be in, whatever career you're trying to pursue. See, you complete that last percentage of yourself. You have that foundation to go off of, right? The DNA, the astral, the way you were raised, how you were taught in school, because that's a big part as well. It's a socialization process, and it covers a lot of things, and it creates and pours in a lot into you. And so a lot of times we have to reprogram ourselves to get where we want to be. We have to do the personal development. We have to read. We have to learn. We have to educate ourselves. We have to take courses. We have to go to seminars and conferences and constantly learn. We have to observe the people who are at the top of our fields. What are they doing right? How are they getting to that? What was their story? How did they get to that point? How long did it take them? Denzel Washington said it took him 20 years to become an overnight success. You see? 20 years being an actor. He told a story of having to be in the unemployment line after his first major motion picture that he did. After the money ran out for that, he was in the unemployment line, married, broke. This is the reality of this shit, man. Like, planet Earth is no joke. This shit is not, fairy dust and flowers, man. This shit is created to take you through about 25 to 31 years of bullshit. Like ages 21 to 31, and it varies per person, right? Some people it may. I'm just saying that till about 27 years old, that's when the bullshit starts to come down, right? For most people. Now, if you just make consistently bad decisions, hey, that's on you. And this comes from numerology. I forgot to add the numerological aspect into it. That also plays a part as well, right? Along with the DNA and astrology. That's another science that deals with, the personality and et cetera, right? On a spiritual, astral level. But if you're making bad decisions, I mean, you're going to be constantly, your life is going to be in constant upheaval and things of that nature. But, the shit is cyclical. But the first half of or not the first half, but the first quarter of your life, that's going to be where you get put through the fire. In astrology, is something called Saturn return, which is when you make 27, it's supposed to be like the worst year of your cycle. It's supposed to pretty much, in this, I've experienced it personally, which I've just went through it, is where you pretty much lose a lot of shit. And it's supposed to be basically a destroy to build type thing. So it's supposed to be like, okay, if you're on like cruise control, it's supposed to wake your ass up and allow you to consolidate everything that you have, whether it's your friends, your associates, your businesses, your assets. It's supposed to wake your ass up so you can consolidate and understand what really matters, right? And that's supposed to mark the end of all of the messed up stuff that you went through, right? And so in numerology, the first quarter of your life, right, first 25 years or so, give or take, right, I say until about 31 it should be done with. But that's supposed to be the hardest part of your life, having the most hardest challenges, the hardships, and things of that nature. And so, you go through the fire through that period, and after that, it's supposed to be a lot easier compared to that period. Now, so this is the manufacturing process, right, from beginning to end. I just want to reiterate it one more time. The beginning is the DNA that you get from your parents. You have all of these things, these proclivities, your strengths and weaknesses on the familial level comes through the DNA. So let's say if your family was a musical family, in most cases you're going to get that musical gift. They were farmers, and in most cases you're going to be good at that. Like in most ancient cultures, you did what your parents did because they passed down the expertise. They trained you. It was like a like in today's world you would call it like a mentorship. I can't think of the term right now, but it's basically like a mentorship. The things that the electricians and the skilled trades have, right? It will be that same type of deal. You have that on-hand training from your parents, yada, 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 right? So, again, DNA, and next would be the astrology, which is astrology actually probably more important than the DNA aspect, but that's your personality and your psyche, ancient art dealing with the astrology, and then, of course, the numerology, which deals with your birth date, the energy with your birth date, where you were born, as well as your name and stuff like that. So all of these combined and bring on the foundation. Next, you have the rearing of you as a child from your parents, you know, your grandparents, aunts, uncles, aunties, extended family, etc., etc., your peers. Also, how you were socialized in school, preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, these things. And final, to complete the manufacturing process, right, it is yourself. What do you ingest in terms of media? What do you ingest through your mind in terms of reading material, conferences, seminars, courses, etc., etc., your personal development? You complete the manufacturing process as the human. You make the decision then and there. How do you get as much as you can out of that last 10, 15, 20% that you can create about yourself? How do you become the person that you need to be to do what the hell you got, to do what the hell you want to do, and to be where you want to be at? Because you have to become that person. You know, you can't be a 300-pound flabby motherfucker trying to be a goddamn MMA fighter. You can't be a 300-pound person, you know, trying to be a 300-pound overweight trying to be a baseball player. You see what I'm saying? Trying to be a basketball player. You have to work with your strengths. You know, work with play to your strengths and constantly improve on your strengths and understand what you're trying to be, how you're trying to do it, how other people have done it before you, and move toward that direction which best suits you. But that's it for this video, guys. Again, this is Jesseville from Jesseville.com. I hope y'all enjoy this whole concept, this idea. You know, I really love and enjoy just kind of breaking shit down and bringing philosophical points to you guys out there. You know, hit the like, subscribe, share, and make sure to hit the bell so you can see any new videos that I have coming out in the future. All right, guys, peace.